morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Sorry about the delay. That was me and my doctor. He called as soon as me and Dre was about to start. And he's important. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
What's poppin'?
Let me make sure that I'm all good over here. Apparently not. Let me fix this. There we go. I hope everyone is starting their morning off great. Today will be an amazing day. Let's see. Hey, Stan. Good morning. Look, I'm knocking stuff over. Hold on 1 second. I know, my animals is like, what are you doing down here? Making all this noise this early.
I be forgetting it's this early sometimes, for real.
Yeah, and you know what? Your animals know it. Like, they give you the side eye.
Yeah.
Especially your boy over here. Look, he like, I was moving around.
Look, my green tree over here thinking he about to eat, too. You have to watch him, make sure he don't try to bite the back of my head.
I think that's better. Yep, got it. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. All right. So today's first of all, welcome to Two Peas on the Podcast this Monday morning.
Welcome.
Again, like I said, today is going to be an amazing day. First of all, it starts with us, so it's already amazing. But it ends with us again, or with me again, or with us, because all of y'all better be there in the chat tonight. I will be the guest on Trap Talk tonight, which is actually, definitely an honor for anybody who's in the Reptile podcast business. And I say this all the time. And it's, no slight to anybody. That man's been doing what he's been doing for a long time. And it is an honor to be asked to be a guest on the show. So really looking forward to that. So I do expect all of y'all to be in. My mom will be in the chat. There is one person on earth more ignorant than Dre, and that's my mother. So I suggest when y'all recognize my mom.
I ain't said nothing.
She always say good things.
I'm chilling.
So she don't turn my show south.
Wow, like she can't help herself. Y'all wonder.
She can't help herself
my shade.
either.
I wonder why I throw shade when I can, because I just never know when it's gonna come.
I'm being honest. That's why you don't bother me, sir.
I'm not ignorant. I'm not ignorant though. I just say things most people won't, but I'm truthful about it.
All right. That. However way y'all want to put that little thing, my mother say the same thing. I'm just saying what the truth is. Filter the damn truth sometimes, but
I'm not a fish tank. I won't be filtered.
Oh Lord God. Maki, good morning. I gotta talk to you. LOL. Okay. It won't be right after this podcast because I go back to sleep after this. But I'll hit you up when I wake back up.
Shit.
Right. Shut up.
I'm still trying to get rid of this cough. I feel better, but this cough got me right now.
Oh goodness. Oh, Dre, you was up early this morning.
Yeah, I'm at the shop with my snakes. I got some cleaning and some bedding.
Hey, Elias.
Yeah.
Keys, what's up, bro? Catching up.
Keys,
Hi,
what's going on?
Good morning. Good morning. Ray Blake. Good morning, Ray.
Ray, what's poppin', bro?
Ray posted a little pretty snake yesterday, and I'm not really big on albino ball pythons or anything with that.
You're not big on nothing that's not a retic. We get it. We know. We don't care. We don't care.
Keys tell me that's not true. Man, I got some ball pythons I'm in love with.
Why Keys got to tell me? I'm talking to you.
Because you're not listening. You just said a false statement. Anybody know that I had many ball pythons?
Because we already know every podcast, every conversation. I mean, they're not retic, but like.
It depends on what the subject is. I have some pretty ball pythons, and there's some pretty
care
ball
one way or
pythons
another.
out there that I like too.
It's a ball python.
Hey, Nay. KT Exotics. Good morning.
KT, what's popping?
I should be looking at my daggone phone too, but I'll go back and check.
Yeah, I got mine.
Elijah said, "Good morning, dear Max." He's sitting up there. Look, I swear if you can see how he's sitting. He's sitting, Dre, with his head going this way on the perch, like he got an attitude.
Listen, Venus doing the same thing. Think he about to get his ass fed right now.
Oh, he just yawned too.
Look at this fool. Yeah, he think he about to get some food.
He just yawned. It's so funny. Like, he was like, I was up, lady. Get out. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Rock. LOL, Machete.
I didn't even do nothing. Y'all gotta not make me laugh. I'm trying to stop
please don't make him laugh because them cooties might come through this day.
Girl, nobody got no damn cooties.
Yeah, they don't sound like that. You need to take some Robitussin.
Turn the radio off. And then Robitussin don't work.
Good morning. So today's topic is reptile hoarding. Wasn't this your topic? So you supposed to kick it off. And wait a minute. First of all,
it's your topic.
You told me I talked too much the last time, though. So do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to
start? I
start?
didn't say you talked too much last time. Don't be trying to listen.
However you wanted to word it.
Stop trying to throw me under the bus. It's your topic. You proceed and go ahead, because I know you got some thoughts.
I do. So first of all, my first thought is when we say reptile hoarding, like people think of reptile hoarding as the same thing they think of common hoarding, when you just have too much stuff. It is, but I want to throw in there, too much stuff could be 3 animals and not 300. So reptile hoarding is having more animals than you can physically take care of and or physically have adequate space for the long term, properly. Exactly. So that's what reptile hoarding is. And I don't know if you guys watched the show that I did with Kent last night. We kind of touched on it a little bit. The reason why that is, or one of the reasons why that is an issue, is the rehoming. I'm sorry, and we talked about the reptiles and cocktails. You end up putting your animals in situations that, one, you don't know how the long term of the health of the animal is going to be. 2, it is detrimental to the health of your animals if you're not taking care of them and cleaning up behind them. And when I say that is literally, if you ever pay attention to any of your reptiles, the only ones that I can say is an exception, probably physically, that I notice with the ones that I own is my tables. Most animals, when they urinate or they poop, they don't want to be in it. They don't want to be around it. Watch how your snake position itself. I always say with most of my snakes, including ball pythons that's in a rack, I can tell when they did something before they did it, because they normally sitting in front of the rack if they pooped in the back. So if they pooped on the side, they sitting on one side. Like I can see and pick that up. So the other part is, for me, it makes us look like bad keepers. That's what people think we are anyway. A bunch of people who buy a bunch of animals just to have them around and don't take care of them. So that's my start of the thought process. I think that it's unfair to the animal. It's unhealthy. And depending on what type of animal you're hoarding, like whether it's reptiles or like cats, for example, there are diseases that you can get from cats that can kill humans. So I think toxoplasmosis is one of them. And that's a common one that you can get from cat urine and cat litter. So if you have small children who are climbing around on the floor, or, small children who don't understand every time they touch something, or especially an animal, to wash their hands in between, it is definitely not just a detriment to the animal, but a very unsafe situation for you as well. And then when you think about laws and leases and all the things that people fuss about, like why don't landlords let you have this? That's one of the reasons why. You guys know that my previous career, I was a regional property manager for over 27 years. And you know that a lot of the decisions that we make are not based on people who keep animals good. A lot of decisions that the lawmakers make is not based on keeping and people who, they're not looking at you and me and Dre and seeing the efforts we put into our animals. They are seeing the stuff that actually shows up on TV. And those things are normally things that the news cameras get hold of because someone called the police or animal control or something like that. It's not, hey, go check out this dude over there who, has his animals in this big commercial space and, they are well taken care of. They're different types of animals. He makes it his business to go see them every day, regardless if he has a full-time job. That's not the narrative. The narrative is when all of the stuff go wrong and they found all these dead animals in a house, all these dying animals in a commercial space. So I will start with that, and then Dre, I'll let you go ahead and chime in before you tell me I talk too much.
I mean, I ain't gonna stop saying that regardless. But yeah, it's a fact though. The funny part is, so when you hit me up about this topic, I got called a reptile hoarder 3 days later on YouTube.
What?
Yes. So
did you invite me to the show? Say join us on Monday.
Yeah, no, I told him to fuck them and get the fuck off my page. That's what I told him. Said, you don't like what I'm doing, and like I'm not about to explain nothing to nobody. If you feel how you feel, I don't care. I'm not. What's wrong with that? But basically, it was the video. I did a video on Dwarf Cayman, and I reached out to Gator Pool Gators, and I asked them if I could borrow some of his footage to use as a clip to give people an example of what your adult enclosure could look like. And his weirdo comes a comment and was like, wants people to get a Dwarf Cayman and shows other people's adult enclosures. And I'm like, well, duh, dummy, because mine isn't an adult. Why am I going to show you an adult enclosure of a Cayman that I don't have? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
But yeah,
what was that?
Hoarding, YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
That's the one place I don't get. I don't get negative comments any.
I get them every now and then. And it's always from.
Yeah, but TikTok. I mean, like that's the one.
Y'all know I'm gonna keep it real. This ain't no shade to anybody, but it's always white people that like try to say some. It's always like white dudes. Cause I get like a lot of racist comments too. He said something else stupid, and I said idiots is like you. Why they pass laws and bans? Because basically, I told everybody also in this same video. One thing you need to keep in mind before considering getting a Dwarf Cayman is to look at your local laws because they're not legal everywhere. He's like, well, it doesn't matter if they're legal or not. Just get the fucking Cayman. And I said, no, sir. What the fuck is wrong with you? That's not something I'm going to be let spread on my page. Like, that's stupid. And this is why they're trying to pass these laws, because it's idiots like you who get shit like this, keep it in their basement and just put a kiddie pool down there and think that shit's okay. No, it's not. So I ended up giving them a piece of my mind because normally I ain't about to argue with you, but I had time yesterday. I wasn't doing nothing. But anyway, hold on.
Well, I mean, and even if like in some cases where the laws do allow you to do certain things, like if you don't have that capacity to take that animal in or the capacity to actually, like I said, manage an animal the way that it should be. Like, I think it's amazing that and I'll talk about like the ball python breeders because some of them have 200 snakes, because they got babies, right? I'll use Reggie from Urban Jungle. I don't know how he does it, but that man looks in every tub every single day, regardless of the amount of snakes he has, right? Most ball python breeders are doing that.
But as you should, whether you're a breeder or not. I mean, whether you're breeding, keeping, whatever, the overall health of the animal should be number one priority, because if the animal isn't healthy, you can't get out of that animal what you're trying to get.
Yeah, that's true.
Personally,
but if I'm being realistic though, and I'm being honest,
yeah, for sure.
Like with even the small ball python collection that I had, small compared to the people who have 200, right? That's in rats. I'm home all day. And I still, of course I have other animals to take care of too.
Right.
I still know that it takes me time to go through each one of those racks, but I'm home all day. Shout out to the people who actually go do an 8-hour shift and come home and do that with 200 ball pythons in a rack. Because that's a lot. I'm telling you, like there's sometimes that I can watch a whole 2.5-hour podcast and still just finish up with just the animals in the rack. I ain't even got to our real ones yet. Oh, we getting popular, Dre. We got to buy.
Oh, snap. Ooh, that's what I'm needing right there.
Block.
Yeah,
No, they're
it's
not. But somebody must have
and
already got it for us.
I think it looked like
Hey,
Bosa got
Poster.
it.
I don't. Can
Bosa, what's
someone
popping?
handle that back for me? Cause hold on, I can do it from my phone.
Bosa already got it.
Oh, Bosa. Oh, Bosa. I should have known.
And this is why, like, so my last couple of videos has been like things you should know, what to think about, what to consider before you get something, because it's to show people or to get people to understand, like, everything may look easy because a certain person did it or a certain person's doing it, but you got to understand the work that goes in behind keeping certain animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't show off my caiman and my Gila monster, my beaded lizard in abundance, honestly, because they're probably my most low maintenance animals, honestly. Out of all, well, the caiman definitely isn't. Honestly, I'd rather deal with 200 ball pythons than one caiman, because one caiman is a lot of work. But the snakes, oh yeah, them motherfuckers take time. That's why I'm here today, because after I log off or after I get off of here, I can log onto my laptop, I can work. I got a wireless headset, so if I get a call and somebody want to meet with me, I can do that while I'm taking care of what I need to take care of, and it's just super easy, super simple. And then I don't have a huge snake collection, but my snakes get big, just like your snakes get big. So I think because a lot of people be like, well, how many snakes you got? I'm like 18. Oh, that's a lot. That's not a lot. I'm like, you have 45 ball pythons. That ain't shit. Most of
I
my
was gonna say
snakes
it
are gonna
depends on
get
what kind
10
of
to
snakes
12
it is,
foot.
because I will tell you, on a day when all these retics, this is why I don't feed all of my retics on the same day, because when all of them poop at the same time, and then if they get bigger, they get ignorant, because retics don't like their poop at all. Berms don't like their poop. So they'll start placing it places where it's just way more inconvenient. Like, you gotta literally get in there to clean it.
I'm gonna start
So
whooping ass.
again, right. So again, you kind of think of, those are things you learn along the way, right? Like, I don't want to clean all 8 retics at the same time, because that takes longer than cleaning the ball python racks, to be honest, because you literally got to,
It's
if
like
you ever
cleaning
see an
human
adult
shit.
retic's poop or an adult berm's poop, it's like, it drops like it's horse poop. It doesn't look like dog poop. You don't believe it came out of a snake. It's bigger than human poop, everything. So, and normally, because they're so big, you also want to take them out. Well, I do. I don't know why people don't believe in soaking their snakes, but my snakes get soaked. Like, if I don't want urine under their scales, I don't want poop under their scales. These are not animals in a wild who can go and bathe themselves in the middle of a warm bath in the jungle. Like, they literally, for me, and they love it. Like, retics love when they see that you're about to put them in a big tub. They love that. They'll go right down in it. So, because I believe they don't want that shit on them either. But yeah, so you start to figure out ways to make it easier for you not to feed everybody on the same day. I do the same thing with my ball pythons. I feed all the females on one day and all the males on another day. That kind of helps me not to have to go in and clean poop all at once at the same time. So you become strategic. But my thing is also, Dre, like, when people know that they're challenged with time, right, and still continue to buy other animals, that's a mental condition, just like regular hoarding is.
And I think that's where a lot of the impulse buying comes from. And I don't care what show you go to, you may not recognize it, but impulse buying happens at every single
You was there.
exercise.
You was a witness of it when I bought the Aggies. That was an impulse. That was a whole setup.
But my difference is, when you impulse buy, you're not prepared,
right,
versus when you're buying on a whim, or you're buying something you weren't planning to, but you have everything you need already. That to me is not, like, you impulsively made the decision to buy it. But I'm talking somebody who randomly has done no research on an animal, has no setup for this animal, and didn't even know what animal to get, and they just go in, buy this animal. And then these are the same people that are in all these groups or on Instagram. Hey, I just got this animal. What type of setup does it need? I tell you now, those are the type of people that I leave on red on Instagram. Do not buy an animal and then come to me for advice, because you're not about to blame me if it dies. Number one. Number two, no, because you should have did that. You should have did this research before you got the animal. And then there's also a lot of people that I leave on red if I'm sorry, I don't follow everybody back. You only on Instagram, you only get a maximum of 7,000 people you can follow back. I don't know if anybody knows that, but you can only follow a maximum of 7,000 people. So I'm not about to have a bunch of random profiles where people got like all of their ball pythons and glass tanks and they keep them on Eco Earth and they got one hide. I don't want to see that because number one, I got way too many followers to be trying to help everybody. Now I help as many people as possible, but I'm not. I get too many DMs where people it's like, hey, my ball python won't eat or this or if I don't like your setups, I'm not gonna follow you back because I don't want to see it. And if you come to me for help, that's a different story. But other than that, mm-mm. And then you get a lot of people where they know their setups are trash, and then like you said, they just keep buying animals. The worst part about it is they have no means to upgrade their animals. You know how many people that I've seen that have adult ball pythons in 10-gallon tanks, bearded dragons in 40 breeders, leopard geckos in 10 gallons. It makes no sense. And they just keep buying.
Well, and I think too now for me, I try not to follow back anybody who I don't see reptile related that I don't know personally. For one, so if I don't go to your pictures and see reptiles, because for me being a woman, and I'm not saying that men go through it, but for me, what I hate about Instagram compared to Facebook is that because Instagram has mostly of my animals and not like my family, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You have some family, the shit that come through my inbox and from all kinds of people. Like, don't inbox me. Like, this is the one that gets ignored. Good morning. If you want to really ask me a reptile question, you better come with a whole fucking sentence. Good morning. Right. I was wondering about blah, 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 because I'm never going to respond. And you will get blocked. If I also hate when you follow people and they just want to make a business out of, like, you know, would you like a new logo? Bitch, I already got, excuse me, y'all. I already got a logo.
Them bots. I don't follow them regardless.
Yeah, right. So I try not to follow everybody back, but I do try to follow back everybody who's reptile labeled, regardless of if they're you know, bad keepers. Now, when I will block you is when you don't take good advice, because bad keepers following me and following you and following people who are doing it the right way can learn something silently. I don't have to necessarily teach them. You That's get true. To see. Yeah.
But in order for you to learn, I don't have to follow you back, but you can definitely see my page. My page is public. And that's the one thing I like about Instagram.
Yeah, I agree. I think
and I'm just too. I'm getting to that point where.
But you have way more followers too on Instagram. So for me, like, I'm not concerned about following 7,000 people back. I think I got 1,500 followers. You know, that would be different.
I'm only following, so I got 11,000. I'm only following back like 1,500 people, and those are people that I've either met at shows, I've had actual conversations with, or these are people that I actually, you know what I'm saying, I enjoy their content. And it's just like, I'm to the point now, I guess I'm becoming that angry keeper where it's like, there's too much fucking information out there where people are still fucking up this bad. There are too many people, you know, that you can, like, if you can ask somebody, if you can buy an animal at an expo and then get on Instagram and ask somebody, hey, what type of setup does this animal need? You could have did that before you got the animal. And that's where I feel like I have the problem is like, everybody was like, well, I understand everybody's a new keeper at once, but I was never that stupid. Never. Because
but your passion may have been different too. So I try to keep that in mind. Like when you started, right, your history already was going, like some of us, that's why I always ask, how did you get into reptiles? Some of us got into reptiles because we were herping before we could, you know, walk in our heads. You know what I'm saying? Like
we was herping before they even knew, before you even had a term for it.
Right. So then there's people because they met Dre, they met Maki, they met Elias, they met Rock, they met Zach, and Zach had these cool animals and decided they wanted to get the passion is different. So it's no different from when you were born to be an athlete, and then when your mother told you to go to school and play basketball. That person who was born to be an athlete, like a Kobe, for example, They're training when they don't have to train. They're doing what they're supposed to do when they don't have to do it. So I try to, that's why I like to know how did people get started, because I realized there's two different buckets. Like, we were born to be reptile keepers. We were born to be reptile lovers. Think about the most passionate conversations. Me and you had a passionate conversation about a name for your daggone snake. Who else has those type of deep, this is deep. It's just a name for your snake. And we're going back and forth on a passionate conversation for a name for an animal. Everybody ain't doing that. Like, it's their minds ain't even wired to be sitting there going, well, thinking it deep about a name. So
my only issue in why I'm so like low tolerant is because I feel like the lack of effort people put in for reptiles, they wouldn't put in for their dog or for their cat. They make sure they go, they got this ahead of time. They got, even if the food is trash, they will make sure they have dog food or cat food. But why is it that it's okay to impulse buy a reptile? I don't understand. Nobody impulse buys a dog. They'll adopt a dog, but it's so okay to go, oh, I went to this expo and this snake was, this much money. And there's even people who have money that do it. They'll spend $3,000 on, a ball python or whatever the snake is, and then go put them in a bare minimum ass setup. It doesn't make any sense.
Elias has a good point, and that's something too also that I've been in that situation multiple times, and that's literally where you always got to have that backup plan. And I mean, grateful for me, I got Michael, and then the last time surgery I had, it was I had the water monitors and everything, so like my husband and them had to actually get involved. But that's something you got to think about. And you're right, Elias. I remember crying because I just couldn't go downstairs because of the type of surgery I had, and I just wanted to see my animals. And then my husband like literally looked at me and said, just turn on your cameras. I wasn't even thinking about that. If I just want to see them, then it went from just wanting to be able to see them to wanting to be able to touch them. So they brought the ones that they could upstairs up to me so I can touch them. But again, that's a different level of keeping, because the reality of it is, whether you got the flu or not, those animals don't care. Like, you still have to take care of them. And that's something that people don't think of either until something happens. You break something, or like, God forbid, if the rats, Michael love animals, but he'll touch ASS. He don't particularly care to touch rats too much. It's just like he just don't. Oh, be quiet.
I don't blame him at all.
I love my rats.
My snakes love them too. I do it for them.
They're just so cute. Need a shower. Show animals on Monday and FB10 on Wednesday and breeding on Friday. So like Melinda found a way, like she breaks it down for herself to make it a little easier, because that's the thing too. You gotta figure out you have to acknowledge it, figure out a rhyme, figure out a rhythm to keep responsibly. And that's the thing. I just hate to see irresponsible keeping and the thought of any animal suffering, whether it's mine or somebody else. Like, when I see the news, people went in here and all of these animals was like, I don't know if y'all remember that the big breeders that was in Georgia when they got arrested for child molestation. I cannot remember their names. But they were a big breeder. And when the people went into their house and they had all kinds of animals, the condition of those animals was so sad. Some of them had already died. Some of them were skeletal. Some of them were still alive and just like thanking God. Like, I remember the guy who went to get them, he came across his closet full of retics and he was terrified. Some animals were so happy that somebody came in to save them. They was, they wasn't even reactive like they could have been or normally would have been, especially after being neglected all that time. But even then, for them to not say to the federal government when they came to get them, please, our main home has animals in it that someone needs to rescue. Can you please make sure those animals are, taken care of? That to me was just irresponsible. You weren't coming back out of jail. You was messing with little kids' booties. You want to be in there. So I even that, like, I think we was talking about the other day, or if your animal escaped, you have a responsibility to call animal control. That is a response. If you can't find that animal, especially depending on what type of animal it is, within 30 minutes.
If you're in one of them states where y'all don't have laws and y'all can have apex predators that, like here, prior to 2014 when we had the guy in Zanesville. It's like 45 minutes from me, where he had like all the lions, bears, and tigers, and he let them all loose and shit. If you got shit like that, do us all a favor.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Tell me the story because I don't remember that.
So the reptile law, the laws for animals that we have in place now are based off of the event that happened in 2014. There was a man in Zanesville, Ohio. It's like 45 minutes south of here. And he had literally like his private, he had like a farm. And he had like farm animals. So he had like sheep, goats, and shit. And then he had like 3 Rottweilers. Vicious. So that's actually part of what got him in trouble. Is his 3 Rottweilers kept getting loose and attacking his neighbors like goats and shit, and killing them and eating them. But basically, he had like tigers, he had wolves, he had bears, any apex predator you could think of. He had.
Living with them?
I mean, they were like in outdoor enclosures and shit.
Okay.
So his shit was like, if he had a YouTube channel, you would think he was in Florida. It was just because of the space that he had. Like even now, if you drive by, the fence is closed up. It says private property, and you can't go up in there. So basically, he was doing some illegal stuff on the side, selling illegal guns. He'd happened to sell an illegal gun to an ATF agent because he was being investigated, an undercover ATF agent. He was being investigated. Then he finds out his wife is having an affair. So he decides to off himself. But before he does it, he lets his animals loose. And he wrote a note, and basically he said he wanted his animals to feed on his body, and that's the way he wanted to go out. So he let out literally everything: lions, the tigers, the wolves, the bears, the leopards. One of the leopards almost made it here. Because they lived off of the main freeway that goes in and out of the city.
Lord.
It took 3 weeks. So Jack Hanna was down there. Everybody was down there. So of course, majority, they killed some animals. Some of them are actually currently at the Columbus Zoo. And then some of the animals went back to his wife. So she has them back and she's still there. And I'm just like, it makes no sense. And then they make this law. I'm like, so how the fuck y'all give her them animals back? And then y'all make the law. She obviously don't need them because she didn't do anything with the animals. He took care of all of them. But when they went to bust him for the guns, they found like emaciated tigers. They found one tiger that was just dead in the cage, and the other tigers were just eating off of it. It was a lot. Look it up. Zanesville, it's called like the Zanesville Zoo Massacre or some shit like that. But yeah, Zanesville, Ohio. Crazy.
Wow.
So that's when they made
with it. Like it goes back to what she was also to like keeping. There's certain like let me tell you the one animal, man. How much I love it. I would not keep as a monkey. And I just think that it never goes all the way good when someone keeps a monkey.
No animal. No. And in Guyana, up until 2014, you were allowed to keep tigers legally.
Now, let me tell you my thoughts on tigers. I do think that once they get older, you got to be a bad animal to definitely continue that relationship. But my thing on tigers is kind of like my thing on big snakes. When you get them as babies and you raise them up,
it's cute.
They are amazing animals to have.
My only problem is the average person, even the above average person, does not have the mental capacity or the space or the financial responsibility to feed and keep an adult tiger.
Well, so again, it goes back to where I think that people should be able to keep what they want to have, right? But they should not be able you should have certain protocols to be able to prove that. Like I have no problem with the state of Maryland if they decided to say you can keep all the retics you want, you can keep all the birds you want, you can keep all the ball pythons you want, but we need to come in your house once a quarter to make sure that you are caging them appropriately and that they're in good health.
That's cool. My only thing is a tiger is going to be able to do a lot more damage than any snake can, and they're traveling at a faster rate.
Yeah, but this is where I try to put myself in that position of the person who loves the tiger and who can handle the tiger, because there are people who look at us and feel the same way about the animals we keep, right? Like
But look at
in their mindset, a snake can do in their mindset as much damage. There are people, real live people on earth today who are keeping those type of animals in a good way, you know, and they don't have any issues. I'm not saying that everybody should be open to that. I do feel that there's certain big cats. I honestly feel that when a tiger gets to a certain age, his mindset change about you. That's just my thought. I haven't proven that. I do believe that when a big cat gets to a certain age, it no longer sees you as the person who cares for it. It sees you as food at a certain point.
Because
that's
it's
just
a fucking tiger, Nicole, and it is not meant to be
I don't want to look at it
domesticated.
like that, because somewhere people say because it's a fucking snake, Nicole, because that snake gets 20 feet, Nicole, that snake is going to not look at me the same. So I don't want to look at it that way. The reality of it is, though, if there is something that happens, I can, which to your point, I can probably get away from even a snake who decides that it no longer wants to see me as its owner way quicker than someone, or easier than someone who is trying to get away from a tiger.
I hear what you're saying, and I think this is where we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
We do that a lot, y'all.
For sure, but we both have we have unique perspectives. But I'd rather deal with a 20-foot snake than a 900-pound cat, because the intelligence difference is just it's crazy.
Wait a minute, hold on, pause. Archie Daddy is in the chat early this morning. That's never happened. Hey G. My Ultra Male Daddy. See, you don't pay. See, that's what I'm saying. You need to pay a little bit more attention to the other side of the cliff. Everybody know who's Ultra Male Daddy is.
I don't do clicks. Let's get that together. I don't do
you
clicks.
You say do what?
I don't do clicks.
Did I say clicks?
You did.
I did not say clicks.
You said other side of the click.
I said the other side of the clip. Play this back. I didn't say clicks.
Clip?
Clip, yes.
They all sound the same. All right, whatever. Goddamn.
Lord Jesus, have mercy. So yeah, that's my where my ultramel is going to come from. All of my visual ultramels will only come from that.
You didn't even tell me who it was.
I told you who it was. I said Sick With It Balls. It's G.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. My bad. What up, Sick With It?
He ain't listening. He ain't listening. But no,
I do be listening. I'm hard at hearing, but I listen.
Thank you, Bosa. Take a commercial break to make sure that you guys are members, not supporting, members of US ARC. So if anyone is in the chat and you are not a member of US ARC.
I'm dropping a US ARC video today.
Oh, I'm so proud.
Yeah, because I'm tired of seeing the stupid nonsense online. My boy Jeremy been going hard.
We have to make it a daily part. So one of the things that I'm starting to do after every reel is make sure that US ARC is the ending of my reel. Like I wanted to, I know for long, like for me, like I think it has to be visual all the time, especially from like the people that people actually are like paying attention to. It has to be, because I'm telling you, I was even looking at y'all US ARC Florida chat, and I'm gonna tell y'all one of the biggest problems that y'all got in Florida. If y'all can go and look at the post that US ARC post, I think it was either Thursday or Friday, and your Chandlers of the world, his ignorant comments on that post. If y'all got the people who are permitted with venomous down there, or permitted to have the animals that they have down there, because they're YouTube celebrities or whatever, speaking so negatively on those posts, that's a problem. That is a problem. If I lived in Florida, I would not follow Chandler, and I would shoot his ass up every single chance I get. Like, I'm serious. Like, if you can go look at his comments on that post, it just was disgusting to me. Like, just disgusting.
That's what happens when those laws don't affect you and you basically work with FWC.
Right. And but the thing is, he doesn't work with FWC because he was very disrespectful to FWC.
Typically him and FWC have a good relationship. Typically.
No,
Based off of, because I've watched some of his videos, based off of what he said in some of his
What
videos
he
in
says,
the past.
right?
In the
What
past.
he says. What he says. But if you go to and watch anything, even like last year when Kevin went off on him, he has a license and permitted, and I swear FWC did it years ago for him for monetary purposes, right? But then all the things start to shift. And his point was pretty much like talking down to US Arc about how if you keep it and you got permits and this, well, you've been had your permits. That's like me saying, if someone come in here and give me all the permits I want right now for my retics, and then 5 years down the line, somebody behind me get retics who are not permitted, and I don't give a damn about their animals, right? And so I'm gonna go on US Arc and downplay everything that US Arc say because I already got mine. Fuck you. And I don't normally say that, but fuck you, Chandler. So listen to those notes and see what he watched. But him to have the platform, and again, it's like anything else. Don't give anybody a platform to screw us up and screw us over that, you know, don't care. If you don't care, treat him like that. He should not have the number of followers that he has if he doesn't care about what US Arc Florida posts. And then he said, and don't tag me in this shit, is what he said.
I want you to send me that post. I want to see that.
Yeah, and he said to them, don't tag me in this shit. Yeah, Chandler, if I ever see you in person, you're gonna get a few choice words. And it's not just about venomous to me. You know, like again, US Arc is saying, it's not saying that, you know, we want to protect us the venomous. In fact, the venomous
They're not outlawing venomals. They're not right. They're not outlawing venomals.
They don't even come up. They don't even come up. They don't even come up. So I'm going to say to people in Florida, if y'all not paying attention to when US Arc Florida posts, I don't agree with everything that US Arc do or US Arc may post. And what I mean by that, like I may not agree with all the tactical ways that we do things. Like I really honestly feel that they need to solicit more help to be more structured as we grow, right? But I'm not gonna never ever say, you know, don't tag me, or I'm never ever gonna say that they're unworthy of my attention, because they do too much to be upset about one little sentence in a paragraph.
You're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem.
Right. And then he was tagging like other I guess other venomous keepers that he wanted to kind of like dash the post. Yeah. I don't follow him anyway. I stopped following him 2 years ago. But I will say that it's so unfortunate that y'all have to understand his impact. So even though he may not have a relationship with FWC, that is, let's say this, he doesn't have a relationship. Let me fix that. Let me correct what I said, Dre, because you're right. He has a good relationship with FWC. But if you have a relationship with FWC and not a good relationship with US Arc Florida,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. How do you have such a good relationship with FWC and they're the ones that are passing you laws and bans, but you don't like the organization that's trying to fight those? And that's what I'm saying, and that's what I mean by like
he's not a financial, just like everybody else. Somebody, you know, he has some type of financial benefit to someone in FWC who has a house, you know, in the suburban area of Florida. That helps some state protection.
If you think about it, there's certain animals, like if they need relocated, he's probably one of those people that they call. So why would they eliminate him if he's gonna?
Because there's other people you can call. I promise you that in Florida, it's a whole lot of other people you can call.
I'm sure. I'm sure, and that's why I'm not specifically talking about gators, because I'm sure there's plenty of places to take a gator in Florida. But for those, you know, certain venomous animals, you know, and things like that, I'm sure there's many people you can call, but right. I'm pretty sure he's one of the top.
Well, he's one of the top because of the relationship that he built. My thing is that the moment for me where he disrespects FWC, he's no longer that person. Like someone that to me was so disrespectful, and I'm telling you, I already couldn't stand the little crackhead.
I don't think he will.
Really lost respect for him the other day.
I don't think he will, because he knows that FWC is the one that monitors his permits, and that's gonna go along. Go back to that comment. I'm gonna answer that. That's going
Which
to go
one?
along to the am I against keeping reptiles, because that's going to kind of go hand in hand with that.
Oh,
You know, don't bite the hand
I'll
that feeds
chime
you.
in on that too.
Okay. Am
You
I
go first.
against
I'm
keep?
gonna go grab me a spoon.
Okay. No, I'm not against keeping reptiles and tubs. Actually, what my iPad is sitting on right now is actually a 3-tier stack of tubs right now, where some of my snakes are in, and then I have 2 snake racks over this way. It's not gonna turn all the way, but yeah, I got 2 snake racks over this way where I keep my snakes as well. So I'm not against it. Do I believe it should be their forever home? No, it's not gonna be. I'm actually waiting on upgrades for majority of my snakes. But as long as they have enough space, they have a hide, and they have a water bowl, at least for me, um, then I think they're fine. And then I use my tubs and my racks as a means to establish animals or to grow them out in general. But like I said, it's not their forever home. So, but yes, I do. I'm not against it as long as it's done the right way. I don't care how small a snake is. I don't care if it's a corn snake. I don't think any snake should be left in a tub full grown. And I'm not speaking on breeders, because I understand the breeders do things differently. But as far as keeping, I'm not against it, but I don't think it should be the end all be all for any reptile.
Well, even for breeders. So when we say tubs, my thing is that there's it's a whole lot of other variables that goes into that. There are certain snakes that you can keep in a tub here in Maryland that you should not keep in a tub in Florida because of the humidity levels. Like your air temperatures and all of that makes a difference. What type of tub you use makes a difference. If the animal is getting this adequate amount of heat, there's some tubs that are too thick. There are some tubs that are too thin. It's not safe for the animals. Some tubs that if you actually place a heat pad, something that's minimal as a heat pad underneath of it, the fumes that you don't see that's actually going to your snakes is unhealthy. So it's a whole lot more of you need to make sure that you're using the appropriate tub. You need to look into all of that, like what type of combustible materials is in the tub that you use, the seen and unseen. A lot of people who, just like they say, my snake died and I don't know why they died. The first thing I look at is what did you have it in? Because sometimes heat, whether it's overhead heat or underneath heat on certain tubs, can cause fumes that will take your snake out of here. Slow death, kind of like how carbon monoxide can do to us. So all of those factors have to come into play. But I'll use an example. Tubs for ball pythons in places like Maryland or Ohio, where Dre is, are perfect because of how our humidity is monitored. Florida, that can be too much. No snake needs 100% humidity.
Yeah,
None.
That's
Yeah. And so if you have tubs, especially people who stack tubs, I hate to see tubs stacked in certain states. Stacked tubs in certain areas, you can clearly see there's too much humidity in there. And if you're going to use a tub, the one thing you must have is a temperature and humidity monitor, a combination, because you want to make sure that is balanced all times. But for me, I think the best place, I think a ball python does great. And I'm going to say, honestly, I don't even have an issue. Like Dre said, you have the hides. I just don't think you need to overheat on the tub and for a ball python, but I'm okay with seeing a ball python in an appropriate size tub for all its life. I think some people keep them better that way because you can't control or don't have enough education to monitor those things in a PVC, where kind of like in certain areas, like in the state of Maryland, you put a ball python in an appropriate tub, that humidity is going to be set and sound for the rest of their lives to make sure they get proper shed, proper hydration. That's another thing. Even when your snake is not in water, it needs to have that humidity to hydrate in their, skins.
Mm-hmm.
But ball python is probably the only one. Like Dre said, I don't believe in keeping it's not safe. A corn snake can get out of a tub, period. A corn snake can get out of a
I know that.
I
know that from experience. Because my boy Cubert, my rat snake, man, he was out for first
time. Them colubers, they move. They set up differently. They move differently.
A couple of years ago, man, the first time he got out, he was gone for 2 months. Man, stressful.
Yup, Rock. That's why I drove back 14 hours from Florida with COVID, because I wanted to get back home to my husband and my animals. And my husband kept saying, "Listen, you better stay there. You better stay there." I'm like, I'm driving home. And he was like,
look, I remember you hit me up. I was like, man,
be safe.
Be safe with your hard-headed ass, man.
I am driving home with COVID. Everybody was like, she done lost their mind. And I'm like, like people checking on me along the way. The funny thing is, I think that the adrenaline to get home kept me going. And I didn't even want to stop. I just wanted to get home. You know what I mean? And then when I got home, it was like, Lord, I just, I'm out.
I don't blame you. How long a drive was that?
It was 14 hours.
Yeah.
Because I was in St. Pete, so it took me 14 hours.
Yeah. I don't...
With COVID, I was sick as a dog.
You a G. Because I drove 16 perfectly healthy. My ass was like, what?
I just couldn't. It was not in my plans to stay no longer. Like, first of all, y'all know it's so hard for me to be away from my family that long, and that includes my animals. So it was like I wanted to get on the plane, and when the lady said, if you get on that plane, they know that you have COVID. Like, ma'am, she was like, we have to let them know. And she's not lying, because by the time I got here, I got a text from the state of Maryland. I got tested in Florida. State of Maryland told me I had COVID, so they definitely used some type of database.
State of Maryland was like, we heard you not feeling well, huh?
Right. Like, you came back here with that shit. So
don't bring your black ass back home.
Don't let me
but
see
I feel you.
Streets.
If I'm that sick, I don't want to be nowhere else but home.
And that was another thing I kept telling my husband, like, that was it. You remember when I said to you, like, I don't want to be stuck in, because this was the thing. Everybody kept saying, girl, you in Florida, they paying for it or whatever. I don't care. It's not like I can go out here to the beach. I can't go to the restaurant. Like, if I'm doing things the way I'm supposed to, I don't want to quarantine in Florida. That makes it worse. I'm looking out the window, I see the beach, and I can't go. I'm better off at home. But to the point is that, you know, your animals still have to be taken care of, even if you have COVID. And if you by yourself and you don't have any backup or support, like Dre was very sick about a month ago.
Shit, just this past, I caught flu twice in the past month.
You was just a smart ass. Like, I'm like, you like, I'm all right. Like, it's like,
because it's like, everybody like, go to the urgent care. I was like, my mom is a fucking nurse. I'm not going to pay no copay. I'm all right. I'm good. Bring home shit from the hospital. What do I need to go pay a copay for?
But yeah, I think people don't realize that your animals don't care if you had a massive heart attack. You have to have a backup plan.
Listen, I was getting cussed out. You need to lay your ass down. Listen, I gotta go check on these snakes. Y'all think this cough is bad? This cough is nothing. This is just because I'm talking a lot and it's hot in here. But I would be late like half. I got my daughter. She was sick. I'm taking care of her, taking care of me. And I would have to wait until my brother closed the shop down and go home. So I wasn't around anybody. So it'd be like 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I'm over here slinging bedding to come check on my snakes. Because my brother, he likes snakes, but we're both the type of people where like we like reptiles, but if it's not my animal, I'm not just about to be over here grabbing on it because I don't know that animal's triggers. So that's just like when Kato got loose last weekend.
Oh my God, he looked extra stuffed on hair.
I'm gonna pull him out and show y'all how fat that bastard is.
Kato need to poop.
He ain't gonna poop for like 7 months. My brother called me and was like, yo. I'm like, what's up? He was like, bro, Kato out. I'm like, what you mean Kato out? It's like, I was partying that night before, so I'm still kind of disoriented of sorts. And he was like, bro, Kato broke out. It ate 2 of the rats. I'm like, 2? So I'm not worried about Kato being out. I'm a reptile keeper mind state. I'm like, dang, so how much I owe you for them rats? Like, he like, nah, bro, just come get the snake. So I get up here. Kato is still chilling in the rat tank. And I've never given Kato any type of jumbo rat ever. Kato gets large rats. He ate 2 jumbo rats and then killed the other 2. Now, when he first told me, it sounded weird, but I've had Kato for 5 years. And I've known when I give Kato rats, sometimes he'll take it and then he'll leave it. And then I'll give him another one and he'll take it and eat it. So he picks and chooses sometimes what rats he actually wants to eat. So I was just like, damn.
You know why? Like, what is that about?
I don't know, honestly. And it's not like a preference. It's not like these rats are all white or these have color. I don't know if it's scent. I don't know, but the one rat, his face was mangled. Like it looked like Kato was like, I'm gonna eat him, and then halfway through it was like, nah, that one's juicy, and then just went after that one. But when I tell you, let me pull him out real quick. I'm gonna move y'all because y'all sitting on top of his tub, which is on top of another tub, on top of another tub. I'm gonna pull him out so you can talk. It's gonna take me a hot minute. But man, I was like, so this cage behind me actually was his cage. You can see where he broke out. That tape right there. Got bedding all on the floor. He went all the way across the floor. Now, I said blood pythons don't climb. I lied because he had to climb a rack.
That's the first thing I thought about. That was the first thing. Wait a minute. They don't usually.
Right. The funny thing is, you know what was funnier, Nicole? Watching this shit on camera. I was like, this mother, like, so, like, this big husky rack right here, like, this, he climbed one of those to get into the rat tank. And I mean, dude was like he thought it was a buffet.
I'm laughing at Bosa's comment. So Bosa, the only other time that happened, it wasn't here in where I live, but in Baltimore when Freddie Gray got killed and they raided the Baltimore Zoo. And them fools stole all the animals and let the animals loose out the zoo. And it was literally all kinds of animals
Listen,
going up.
I'm convinced Florida is really where Jumanji happened. Because yeah, Florida be on some special type of stuff.
G said he don't trust house cats. Which is funny because I always had a cat until I met my husband. Him and my stepdaughter are both allergic to them. I love cats. I just can't have them.
Yeah, I'm not a cat person at all.
I love them.
If it ain't the cat, never mind. I ain't gonna go there today. You know what I'm. Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
that's why you probably coughing now.
No, ma'am. Mm-mm. We ain't been to the shelter lately, so we're good.
Snakes and cleaning, yep. Yay, Rob! Rob just joined US off this weekend. I'm gonna tip my coffee to you, Rob. Your boy is in love with Chandler, sis. I can't stand him. Can't stand him. Can't stand him. I just hate arrogant people. Like, regardless of where his position is. Like, for me, if I had a position that was that close to FWC, every chance I get, I'm making it easier for us. I'm not going to be making it harder for us. Like, that's selfish because I already got mine. I'm going to make it harder for everybody else. No. And then I can see if he was saying stuff like, you know, I do believe that everybody shouldn't own venomous, and I think everybody knows that. I don't think people who actually buy venomous snakes, opposed to people who might impulse buy other animals, like, if you want to buy a venomous snake, like, buy one and impulsively do that. I do think there should be some restrictions to buying venomous. I don't care who you are, but you know, educate that person. Don't treat him like shit. Let's see, big stud. He's swollen amongst the colon, y'all.
He didn't. It went down a little bit, but I mean, dude was large.
Oh yeah, it went down a little bit because I'm telling you, when you pulled him out the other day, I could not stop laughing. I'm like, oh, poor Kato.
Poor nigga was like, shoot.
He's like everything else. It's just like when we get too drunk. We didn't mean it.
Yeah, he's getting big though, man. I was like, all right, so now I know.
Annie, we missed you. Annie, we covered your. Did you go back and watch that coverage? Was it 2 weeks ago we did her topic on Florida?
Yep.
Annie, we covered it. So you got to go back and look at the one. I think that would have been November 20th. Or what's that? Might have been the 21st. Like whatever that Monday was.
Yeah, something like that.
Good to see you.
I'm already sweating holding this motherfucker. Heavy.
I'm not picking on anybody. Like, I don't care. Like, so my thing again is, and I was saying this last night on Ken's show, when I post stuff on Instagram, it's normally coming because I saw something. But what I'm not going to do is to say, when I post it, if you're not keeping your retics in this size enclosure, you ain't shit. You know, I'm not going to do that. What I'll
That's
do is...
That's very Tom Crutchfield like.
Right. So, and even with him,
And,
like,
and guess who he idolizes?
From him.
Guess who he idolizes?
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That you turn me off from him. He turned me off from him with that, because my thing is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to post something to show you the why is the other benefit of keeping your animals in a bigger enclosure, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to attack people who don't. People who inbox me about keeping my animals and things like that, they got valid questions. Like, they have very valid questions, and I feel a certain kind of way about certain things too, because I can tell you that I have some of the same species who are better off in a bigger enclosure than I had another species, because that particular one doesn't like to climb that much, who likes it better in another enclosure. You have to pay attention to the snake too. So it's not just a combination. And I'm telling you, like, some enclosures are too big for some animals and not healthy for keeping of the animal as well. But my whole thing is a way to deliver it without being rude. You know, when you see me sitting on a sofa with my retic, it's because I saw something else, and I want somebody to see, okay, you can really keep a retic and you don't have to be getting bitten by it. So here's a great big old one. As you can see, we just chilling on the sofa watching the turtles, you know, that type of thing. That's what I try to do, because we're not helping nobody when we're bashing each other.
No, not at all. And there's no reason to be an asshole about anything. And that's, I don't ever want to be that keeper that feels like I've gotten too big for the platform, and then I can just talk to people any type of way, because nah, I'm not that type of person.
Yeah.
Now, if you somebody that I don't like, I'm gonna let you know to your face. Don't fucking talk to me. We ain't cool like that. I'm not going to hide behind a keyboard though. But I mean,
did you see that? See, this is why we talk about USR. After hearing y'all talk about it, I had to join. I see how important it is. That's exactly why. And it's not that Rock didn't have his animals. You know, there are a lot of people who just don't know the importance, and we got to deliver that and have that dialogue so much. Because like I said, some people don't realize that because you got boa constrictors now, because you got a blood python right now, that you wasn't going to be able to have those snakes at one point. I'm grateful. Yeah. I'm grateful for everything that I keep, because what I can tell you was different between me and some other people and y'all and some other people. You take my animals, you're going to create a psychopath. I'm going to be a totally different girl. And if they want to see how mental illness really does, and reptiles really do impact mental illness, I will be the calendar poster child for it. These animals do so much for my psyche, for my, right now, they're everything, you know, next to my husband and my kids and my grandkids. And even then, I would say, you know, they're a part of us. My grandchildren, when they come here, first thing they say when they walk through the door, snakes, where we go, where's the snakes? My granddaughter grabs her book. She wants to get into taking care. My granddaughter was on the phone with me the other night, pleading for me to say poop in the enclosure so she can have something to clean when she come in. Girl, I can't do that. There's enough animals in here. They're going to poop again. But she's like, please, poop. Don't clean up all the poop. You know, like, it's we have to do this together. It's no way to do this other than together. And so, Rob, thank you for that feedback, because that's one of the goals. And that's why, Levi and I determined, and Bosa, if y'all notice, everything we've been posting, it has something to do with USR. We made this pact that's what we're going to do. You know, as we post our reels, we're going to at least post a reel once a week that actually is surrounded by the education of USR. That's the least we can do. Exactly, Nameless. People actions tell you who they are. Yep. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like, and if you really felt that way, inbox somebody. You know what I'm saying? Inbox somebody. Like, y'all didn't see me come out with a public post saying, USR got to get t-shirts out quicker. what I did do was I offered to Vanessa. I sent the email and said, hey, do y'all need my help? I'm home. You know, I can mail T-shirts all day. Like, you know, because I do know that with the millennial generation, y'all know this, they don't like paying their money and not getting what you promised them they're going to get on time.
I went and bought me one at Tinley, so I wasn't worried about it. But
right.
I understand
but see, that's
everybody
you're more
can go.
mature. That you know what I'm saying. Like if you've been doing this
I mean,
long.
they sent me my shirt, but
yeah, they sent me mine too. But
I
it's
bought
a
one
year
from
later.
Tinley.
It's
And
a year after you do the membership. In fact, I'm still behind. They still owe me my 5 shirts for my renewal.
It's crazy because it only took
my last renewal.
It only took my shirt like 3 weeks, which to
that
me
was the
I'm
first
like,
year. If you look,
so yeah.
they just mailed out the ones for the February renewal. So depending on when you renew. So else, anybody who renewed in that first quarter of the year, we didn't get out shirts until last month.
Yeah.
When is your renewal?
I need to renew. I need to look at that. I know I need to look at it. It's probably coming up.
Yeah.
It's probably coming up.
Yeah, so but I think that what has to happen is when people, especially those people that, like I said, they get, like for me, I don't care. I got enough shirts, right? But for the people who saw that if I become a member, I get these shirts, and then you don't send the shirts, that can turn people off. And people had to literally message me and ask questions about it, you know, and I was like, you know, I just wait for mine. But, you know, when we started to follow up, then they had to push. Now, I do believe that the expectation for Vanessa and Phil, and because outside of like the actual main structure, Vanessa's the only one that I see who does a lot of the work, and she runs her own business. You know, she has a life. But I'm willing to support. I'm not going to bash them. I'm willing to support. Send me a box of shirts. I can cover the month of January, February, March.
Especially knowing that we're trying to recruit more and more people daily.
Exactly.
You know, it's going to be driven high. So if you are turned off by not getting the T-shirt in the timely manner,
go ahead, Dre. Finish your point, and then read that comment. It makes sense now.
Oh, I read that comment 20 minutes ago. So yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You look
no,
like
you good. It does make sense. Well, it's because I'm looking at my phone. But it does make sense.
Yeah, but even still, like, that's selfish. You know, like if I have a personal legal problem, that's for me to cover, not USR. USR is for the broader spectrum of all of us. And if you're going to be negative towards them or disrespectful, don't hurt us and then call the lawyer. Right. You know what I'm saying? Don't hurt us and call the lawyer. I can't. And then he tried to tag Tyler. Don't be trying to tag my boy Tyler. Tyler know better. If Tyler got something to say, he's smart enough to say that offline, I hope.
Yeah, I say, with him just having a baby and he just bought his new crib.
I thought that was so cute. I was like, oh, I love me some Tyler Nolan. Like if I ever had, and even with him, when he got bit by his cobra, that video that he did to educate people about what happened, about being comfortable, and that, you know, that was his favorite cobra, right? What he did wrong and all of that was educational. That was educational, and I love that how he delivered it. I love how he showed what really happened to him and all of that. Now, and even afterwards, he loves that he's so passionate about it that he almost died. Martin Luther King died knowing he was going to die because he was passionate about his cause. I have nothing against someone who, like people can say, he got bit by a cobra, he still handle him. That's his passion. In fact, anybody who passionately owns venomous, they already made a conscious choice that they can die any day. Like
I tell people all the time, no matter what pet you keep, eventually you will get bit. It doesn't matter. Whether it's playing or not, no matter what pet you keep, eventually you will get bit.
Now, I don't understand why. My dogs, well, take it back. My Yorkie Poo, if you go anywhere near his butt, like try to cut his hair, he will bite you. He will bite you. My Rottweiler, I don't ever see that happen. But the reality of it is that you have to have that mindset that it can't. Like, I never was a person who take anything out of my Rottie's mouth. Not that he would do anything. I just know that most Rotties don't want you taking them out their mouth. Once they got it, it's it.
It's also a respect thing. Like, okay, yeah, cool, I understand you're the owner, but it's
Yeah.
still a dog. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it just because, you know, I think some people have a complex where they feel like if they don't have kids, they got to get something that they can try to control. And it's stupid. It's annoying.
Yeah, I think too, it's becoming so important. Like I talked a lot about Earl's video. He did the Earl from Lone Star.
Okay.
He did a video the other night, and I swear it was everything I wanted to say. See, Earl is positioned. Y'all can't hurt Earl. Y'all can't keep Earl from growing, right? So he can deliver shit the way it needs to be delivered.
Earl don't give a fuck.
Look,
He don't
I
care.
watched that thing twice, and it was a long one. But his points that he was making in those videos, and you know, he has the education behind it. He is out there in supporting his surrounding states and everything. Like, he's the one, like, really, he should be the face of that communication regarding USR. But his delivery the other day, like the passion that came out, it was parts that literally I welled up in emotion, because people don't realize Earl don't need, you know, Earl is comfortable. He's good. He's good. And what people don't realize is that, though, with your one little snake owner, you know, who want to show the stupidity of owning the snake, how it can impact the whole business that, like, Earl busts his butt off to establish, who keeps all kinds of animals, you know, in a good way. And like he said in that video, I'm not perfect. I wasn't always perfect. But can you clean up, and can you clean up the snake poop and pee first, before you do the video? And so I don't normally comment in the retic community too much, because I do think that the retic community is one of the communities that's very judgmental. I know ball python people says a lot of ball python forums like that, but
honestly, it doesn't matter what sector of reptiles it is, all judgmental. But
I think they're a little bit more almost like it can get very, like, too much, you know what I'm saying? So I comment though when it's like, look, I didn't comment the last time, but y'all ain't learned nothing. So now I'm gonna break this down and I'm gonna comment this time, because when I start to comment, like, the people who do follow me in the retic community, they know that I typically don't like to just go in. But when I do go in, it's because it's so necessary, when people don't learn anything from the previous attack. Like, sometimes the attack is wrong, but if you don't pick up what people are saying to you, and so I'm not going to say who the person was or the people were.
Say it.
No, I'm not. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Boring.
No, I'll do that with you, but I offline. But if y'all can remember, it was a YouTube video a couple months ago where this couple they was totally mishandling reticulated pythons, like totally, to the point where if you gotta handle your retics that way, you shouldn't have them. Like, you shouldn't have them. First of all, let me just show y'all something. This tool right here was never made to grab a reticulated python. This is to feed them. This is to hold the rabbit and put it in. And at the end of that attack, they still determined in their last video that they showed this at the end and saying that this is a professional tool. It is to hold a rabbit.
I've only seen people use those with snakes, for like the venomous snakes. That's it.
Okay, not a reticulated python again.
Hell no.
Right. And if you look, a venomous snake, I don't know a venomous snake, not even a king cobra, who is thicker than this, right? But even then, when you see people hold a big king cobra, they normally use a different type of hook. They're not using hemostats. So,
there's some out there that do use those.
For smaller snakes. For smaller venomous snakes. This is not used for a reticulated python ever.
No, I already said that. I'm saying for venomous.
Like, so everybody done told you this, and then you're gonna put this at the end of your video anyway. Oh yeah, I went in, and then you're gonna like put it where people can't comment on your YouTube, but that's fine, because I'll comment somewhere else, and I'll
Yeah.
find you. I'll find
You gonna tell me who they named after the show?
Yeah,
I want
most
to know
people in
this.
the chat probably already know because it was a horrible video that they posted a couple months ago. To be honest, my whole thing is that if you're that afraid of your snake that you have to use this, and I'm not talking about venomous, because venomous you don't have a choice, right? You better be using something like this. But if you're so afraid of your constrictor, because that's the way that it's going to kill you, you know, if it wanted to, it's going to constrict you. This ain't going to help you from being constricted. A retic who wanted to constrict is going to constrict you, and it's all at the same time.
And you ain't getting it back.
My thing is that you have to learn something. And if you're not learning anything from watching all these YouTubes, every day on live YouTube or whatever I watch, I learn something. Something. And it may not necessarily be about the big snake. It could be about tarantulas. It could be about turtles, anything. I learned a lot about ball pythons, and that's why I watch a lot of not the keeping of them, but the morphs, you know. Like, I've gotten so much better in a year just identifying morphs and watching a bunch of lives. So my thing is you should be learning something. And if you don't, and then you're going to come attack the people who actually, because I was the one of the ones in the first round trying to be kind about helping you, because I do think the retic community can be mean sometimes, but I understand it too. They also were fighting to keep these animals way before I started keeping them. So some of them people are passionate about it because, you know, they were doing way more fighting and demonstrating the proper keeping of them than I had. So I get that. But I do believe the first time, just like with my kids, the first time I deliver is soft. The second time, you gonna get it hard. The third time, you on your damn own. Period. And I'm not that mother who believes that I'm going to always be there for my kids. Nope, I'm going to educate you. I'm going to show you how. And if you take a different path down there, figure your way off the path. Because I'm not going to be one. Because what happens is you create a 10-year-old who kills their mother because he couldn't get a damn game. Did y'all see that? That's what happens. You spoil your kids so much that a 10-year-old asks his mother, let me just tell y'all about this story, and y'all, some of y'all might know what I'm talking about. Last week, shot and killed his mother because he wanted one of those games that my son just got, with the Oculus thing, the virtual reality Oculus thing. He goes to his mother, she said, no, I can't afford it. Okay, first of all, she said, no, we can't afford it. And he goes, get her gun out the safe, which, first of all, parents, if you're gun owners, please have a safe that has your fingerprint and your fingerprint only. Your child should not be able to go find a key. And
shit, no, you got a fucking gun in the first place. So
I do want my kids to know, because if something ever happens, rarely, rarely, that I don't know if y'all remember when a 9-year-old was able to shoot the intruder because they had his father tied up in the, like, I do want that shit to happen, but I don't want it to be where they're doing it without my instruction. I want to be able to say, hey, Michael, go get the gun. But anyway, my thing is that if you have a gun safe, it needs to have your fingerprint with it. So your child, because these children today ain't the children that they not us. We grew up with the fact that what Al Precious say to us all the time, I brought you in this world, I take you out. That was a definite quote that was said constantly when we were growing up. Parents don't raise their kids the same. So
these kids is born knowing everything now.
Right, exactly. So he goes and get his mother gun, come back and shoots and kill her, y'all. This is the kicker. He goes and orders the shit after he kills her. Then when they arrest him, he admits to his grandmother that he did it and then asks, well, did my package come? Y'all, that would have been a dead 10-year-old if I was a grandmama. I'm just going to say, you killed my daughter. That would have been a dead 10-year-old that day. And then asked that my package come. Sweet little boy. Now, if you look at the different pictures and stuff of his mother before that, you would think that they had a wonderful relationship.
Probably did.
Just this one time, or, she said no, because I do believe that he had to be spoiled to a certain extent to think that, I'll just go get a gun and kill you since you won't say no to me this time. And he killed her. And I think that's absolutely insane. That's the type of children we're dealing with, this entitlement. And then one of the guys made a good point. These kids are the kids that was brought up on a generation that they did not know how to reconcile. They brought up on love and hip hop. They was brought up on you know, what was the album when all they see is the way to resolve things is through fighting. You know, and we were raised up on the Cosbys and what was the show with the spiritual
You really
family?
want to use the Cosbys as an example right now?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, the Cosby Show. I had nothing to do with that fool personally. I'm talking about the show.
I'm just saying, I like the show. I'm just saying.
Yeah, the show. The show
No.
taught us how to resolve conflict within the family and outside the family. I thought that was a great display of that. A lot of shows back then, the Jeffersons and
Different Strokes, Good Times.
Different Strokes, yeah.
What's Happening.
And
I'm a 90s kid.
Resolution.
I'm a 90s baby, and I was raised on a lot of that stuff. So, you know, for sure. And my parents also. I'm 30.
Seventh Heaven. Y'all remember Seventh Heaven?
Seventh Heaven. When I see
they even had the, you know, they even had
smiling back at me. Hey, Ruth was fine. No, Ruth,
so, the way that they dealt with their children, like even as a pastor, my child dipped and dabbing in drugs. The conversations that they had, like we learned different things back then. These kids now, they see Grand Theft Auto, they see all these video games to get what they want. All they gotta do is kill the person and stuff like that. Their mindset's a little different, and parents have been restricted to discipline. Compared to it, like my mother could care less if I said she's gonna call the police. In fact, I remember saying that to her one time, and I swear to God.
Shit, but like I'll call them for you.
Well, call the coroners because I'm gonna kill you. Like she's like, call the coroners. You turned up.
I think the issue is more so the lack of parenting, and not necessarily what the kids are exposed to. Because I played Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty, and you know, all types of stuff coming up. But my parents made sure if you ever feeling grown enough to feel like you're gonna try some shit, you better be ready.
When did you start playing? When did you start playing Grand Theft Auto?
I was like 9.
Right. These kids are starting to play that before they 5. Look at a 5-year-old play Call of Duty today.
My daughter is 2, and she knows I play Call of Duty, but I'll be like, hey, go play with your cousin. Go leave the room. There's gonna be a whole lot of cussing and killing up in here, boo boo. You can't. You gotta go.
Yeah, I think that your brain starts to process things differently at a certain age.
But
even still to this day,
my mother is one of the
very few people that I don't play with. Like the way I deal with my mother, because we could never live in the same house, is that I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna get out the house. I'm gonna go back home. I'm not gonna jump in her face. You asking for the beat down. you asking to get your neck snapped. You know, and I'm 49. These kids are so entitled that they feel like if they don't get what they want, they're going to get it by any means necessary. And to see a 10-year-old kill his mom, and, you know, people would say this was a black family, y'all. It wasn't a white family, okay? This was a black family. That was unheard of at one point. You didn't even try because you would die. That's what you already
know what people like us say. He ain't get his ass beat enough.
And that's what I said. You get something happen along the way. But my whole point is that this entitlement piece of humanity is affecting all pieces of our lives, including the reptile community. So the Chandlers of the world feel entitled and positioned. If I'm in position, and one of my goals, y'all, is that I want to have a place in Congress that represents our reptile community. Kind of bridge the gap between us as reptile owners and the laws in the United States of America. That's one of my dream goals, is to have a place where I am the person that can speak for the reptile community alongside other people, but like to really represent us, where if there is a law that pops up, they contact me and, you know, some other people and trying to get in, you know, more into detail to get educated. You can come here and hold these reticulated pythons. You can see what they really are and not what the image that they had actually placed upon you. Real fast, guys. Bosa posted the link for, Pat and Bosa, but this is Pat's posted the link for Snakes and the Fat Man to vote for Pat for the lamest. So if you didn't got that copy and get that taken care of, hey Pat, living the art of that. bestie in this bitch. I'm trying to get caught up with the comments real fast. Ken said Pat got his vote. That is going to be on Reptiles and Cocktails sometime in January. I'll let y'all know the date. So I'm going to do Zach like I did Bosa. I'm just going to go ahead, create the thumbnail, and Zach just going to have to show up. Annie says she loves Kate. I'm sure you saw that 20 minutes ago, Smarty.
I did. I ain't gonna lie about it.
Way behind. All right, y'all, let me get caught up with the comments real fast so it makes sense. Same, I bought one at Tilly and got mine in the mail 2 weeks later. I have 3 now. Oh, the shirts. Kato chilling like a big baby.
He was, in time, Avicii would be there.
They were calling out all my friends. I'm a very easygoing person. I was turning red and getting gangster. Go ahead, Angie, get gangster. See, Angie, you're gangster. You can actually get away with it, Angie. Go, Angie. Go, Angie. Pop one. But no, I think that it was just, that y'all gotta go back. Go back and look at that U.S. Florida post. I mean, really, I just can't. Bye, Stan. I'm sure you're already gone, but if you're still here, I just want to say bye. If you aren't learning, you're not growing. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, I learned, that's why I love this community. I learned so much about so much. Just being in this community. Oh, hey, Miguel. Miguel is here this morning. Oh, hey, Elaine. Good morning. Oh, we go deep. Look, we go deep every Monday.
Monday.
Look, you couldn't pick the 2 most passionate people on a Monday morning to do this one. We go deep every Monday. We try to start off, Miguel, with a general educational topic, but like I always say, it all out other shenanigans because it always
go left. We talk about tigers and lions and shit today.
Thank you, Zach. It's a Reptiles and Cocktails. It's a great live too, Zach. I'll see you in January. I'll send you your date via your Instagram. GP, good morning.
GP, my brother from another.
Your twin.
Yeah,
your twin, not twin, right?
Yeah.
Miguel said he loved it. All right, so I'm all put up with a chat. So we do go deep here. That's why every time you see the other post, it's saying all our other shenanigans, because I never know where it's going to go. But what I can say is that the goal that we did when we decided to do this and do it together, I definitely wanted to bring Dre on because contrary to how much he get on my nerves, I do think he is probably one of the other most passionate people that I know personally, that has a variety of animals to be able to speak on the things that we speak on. And I do think that he is very educated in a lot of his animals, very deeply educated. Like Dre goes the extra mile to get into the origin of where they from, how they live and stuff like that. So, I wanted to just have that. And then also he's probably the one person that I can insult and he not get offended and vice versa. Because literally there's some things that he say that he should be punched in the chest for. But he gets away with it because I know that it comes from a good place. But at the same time, when me and my husband had to travel, the first person that came to mind to hold down Reptiles and Cocktails, because y'all know I don't ever miss that, was Dre, and the efforts that he goes through to make sure that he has my back. I would not be where I am with my YouTube and things like that either if it wasn't for his support. And that was way before we even became close, So I do know that when people reach out to him and they're serious about things, I can speak on that, that he will definitely give them the information. He's a smart dude, I guess you can say, but he gets on my damn nerves.
I appreciate your backhanded compliment. That's like damn near winning $1 million coming from you.
Shut up. Annie, it was on Instagram. It's an Instagram post. It was a US Arc Live. Do lives stay posted on Instagram? Yeah, because I saw if the comments were still there, maybe just for a little while.
Yeah, you don't see the live comments though. Well, yeah, I don't know. It'd be
No,
weird
his
because like,
comments was after the live. So the live was, so yeah, they're there because his comments was after the live was posted.
oh, okay.
Yeah. But again, if you didn't see the one from Earl from LSR, Earl did two good ones. I think that was like he went deep. He did one on sexing, flexing, or flexing. I always mess it up. Sexing and finessing. With Kristen Levi, he did one with them, and he pretty much took over, just talking about U.S. Ark, and Levi and them let him go, and it was a really good live. And then he did one on his Instagram. Was a couple days ago. I think it was Thursday or Friday, maybe. And that was really good. But it's important that we all, and I'll say it again, that we all support USR. Not support, we all become members if you're not a member. Some of us have been members for a very long time. Some of us, like Rock admitted, never knew the importance until he started to hear it over and over again. The attacks that's coming state by state right now is insane. It's like one day from another. And I will tell you, Florida and New York are two major places. If you ever get animals shipped, two major ports for trade for reptiles. If you get something to New Jersey, or you getting something to New York, or if you get something to Pennsylvania, it typically goes through a main hub in New Jersey or New York. New York already had a lot of restrictions. Like they can't keep retics anymore. That happened a few years ago, so
Tennessee too. If they ever come up with like a Tennessee travel ban,
oh yeah,
that Memphis hub is huge.
I don't know. I can probably like cancel the Memphis hub though. They get on my daggone nerves. But yeah, but the Memphis hub is a big.
That one, I hate. You're right, but that one in Indiana is a problem too.
Yeah. So Kenneth said, I got a question. I separated my two parent Friday. Both females ate 2 rats, and the males had 1 each. When should I put them back together? They both were first time lots. That's again subjective. Some people would say every 2 weeks. I say once a month because I think that if you're eating, you want to make sure that they get a couple feeds in before you lock them again, just in case a female does begin to ovulate and come off food, or if the male get into a cycle where he just want to breed and come off food, because that can happen as well. So you want to make sure that both of them have enough food for when they come to that point. So, but that's subjective. Some people say every 2 weeks and keep them in for 3 to 4 days. Some people do once a month and keep them in for 3 or 4 days or a week. It's subjective. I do believe. I think there's no right or wrong way with that part. Just like, when you're trying to make a baby yourself, as much as it takes or, as much as it doesn't take. If they are only going to one female, I would pair again in 4 weeks. See, so that's Zach's perspective. 1 per shed. Yeah. So that's what I believe with the female. Like if the female sheds, and I think I don't know who said that. Someone who I really respect said that. Oh, KG. KG said right after the female sheds, he put the male. He puts the male in. And then we have, I want to see anybody else answer that. Yeah, so I think that Ken, you will get different, depending on who the breeder, different female responses on that. But I can honestly say that I think that none of it is right or wrong. I think people do what works for them. Like I always joke about the sonogram, like I need the sonogram to help me to understand the processes. There's many breeders who don't. Like Aussie Boys has never used a sonogram, and he's one of the most successful breeders out there. Billy likes to use a sonogram. Emilio, very successful breeder, doesn't use a sonogram. So I think that all of that is all subjective based on your experience. For me, being a new breeder, I like to see how the follicles are growing to help me better understand the process. And I'm learning things with using a sonogram where some people think that building follicles might take a month and things like that, or 2 months. Or I've seen snakes who shouldn't have follicles. I've seen snakes that follicle growth, follicular growth accelerates from 11 millimeters to 25 in just a matter of 3 weeks, so I'm seeing different things. So the sonogram is teaching me so much more. Now, once I master all of that and understands all those different things, maybe down the line, I do think maybe using a sonogram is more time consuming. But I will tell you that for me as a new breeder, I think that it's teaching me so much about hypothesis. I'm learning facts with using the sonogram about their growth. So, name is you technically can't have boas in the 5 boroughs. Oh, dang! I didn't know that. So New York can't
Yeah,
have boas either.
there's a lot that New York can't do.
Wow. I knew the retics and the berms, but I did not know the boas too. Dang.
Yeah, New York is damn near worse than Florida.
Yeah, New York really started cracking down like over the last 5 to 7 years. And
They cracking down on everything. Like,
yeah, they only trying to come for the not having ball python shipped into
like soon enough, New York
or New Jersey.
Soon enough, New York ain't even gonna want people in there. It's like, hey, for real. Like, I'm like, God dang.
But we take that for granted, right? And then it can't wait until it's your state to want to fight. That's too late.
But I mean, yeah, when you had people who had tigers in a Harlem apartment building, that don't help.
I mean, yeah, you can't just wait until it's your state. You gotta care because it's one state. And one thing that Earl said, and I mean, and we've all said it at some point, Florida was at one point the place that you felt free with reptiles. Like everybody, I know I did. I couldn't wait to get older to move to Florida and have all the animals I want or whatever.
Outdoor cages, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it was just so, but you can't have anything that's, I'm not saying worth having, but anything that really is exotic. I mean, it's very minimal. And what's crazy is that they will issue venomous permits, right? But won't issue a permit for reticulated python. Blows my mind. Now, I get that a lot of venomous is native to Florida, but at the same time, a lot of it is not. Gaboon vipers are not native to Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that's an African snake, but just saying. I would much rather have retics running wild than I would a gaboon viper. And my kid in the backyard and steps on it. But it's just like it all doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to a lot of it's all political, and that's why we got to get political with them, y'all. Like we even if you don't like politics, right? You have to understand how politics work. And at the end of the day, the reason why, and Dre, we're gonna end this on this, right? Because we are almost,
hour and a half.
We in. But I'm going to end this on this. And Dre, you can give your feedback too. The reason why we are shifting, and you're going to hear the message saying not being a supporter, but being members, is political. If USR can go walk in there and say, there's 1 million, I'm just using that number, it's more than that, 1 million reptile keepers, and 999,000 of them are members. You know the impact that has? We wouldn't be having half of these conversations. If you have 300,000 reptile owners in Florida, and when they go to FWC and 299,000 of you guys are members of USR Florida, USR, you shut it down right there. In fact, you won't even be having these attacks because some people would already looked at this statistic. And you're the group of people, LGBT community, right? You hear over and over, don't mess with them. It's like the beehive. Don't mess with them. You know why? They stick together. They show up together.
That's true. First off, I want to say fuck the beehive. You might care about them.
Oh, shut up. I'm just saying. I'm using that as an example. I love the beehive.
I feel your point, but fuck them. I went right.
I'm using that as an example. Like, people don't come for the beehive or the LGBTQ community because they stick together. And at the end of the day, the laws that you see in place now is because they stuck together for so many years.
People don't come for them because there's consequences behind it. You can't just say what you feel like you want to say, at least not on a public platform anymore, which I'm not against it. I mean, if you out here just openly calling, gay people slurs or black people slurs, you should be condemned for it because it's not cool. But if we just talking about, Beyonce's beehive, fuck them. Bunch of grown-ass women thirsting after that woman. Man, shit, nah. I want to hear that.
At the end of the day,
I hear you.
That's made support. And I take you back to when and I'm not like I used to be a big Beyonce fan. I don't like her that much anymore. But when someone tried to attack her and Jay, their back was turned. Her whole entire audience and dance crew reacted. That's the type of like soldiership we have. You heard me say on my video the other day, we need to be no limit soldiers. At the end of the day, we have to combine together. Even then, when you bring up the Black community, the reason why we still fight and the reason why we haven't made the progress that the LGBTQ have done, the LGBTQ, I'm sorry, I messed up the letters, but y'all know what I mean, is because we, as a people, don't band together. We're so busy attacking each other. We're so busy judging each other. We are envious of each other, like the whole crab in the barrel mindset. That's why. So back to my point, USR memberships, reptile owners, if you own a reptile, you need to be in the army of USR. Period. Or don't own a reptile. That's just how I feel. Period.
Yeah,
and that's my message always.
It's stupid because it's like having guns, but you don't support the Second Amendment. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, I'm a gun owner, but you don't support the Second Amendment. What? Doesn't make any sense.
That's a perfect example. And you know, I love both reptiles and guns.
You know I do too.
Lord help me.
Just got some new parts in last week.
Lord help me. Look, I picked up a new one. Look, I hate in Maryland they make you wait 7 days. Even if you license and everything, you have to wait 7 days between purchases. Except for my husband, because he has a his license, he's a collector, so he can do whatever.
Right here.
But yeah, I know, and it shouldn't be here either, especially if you're licensed, right? But Lord, that 7-day wait be so long. Be like, damn.
That 7-day wait ain't as long as when you get in the reptile ship. You waiting on that overnight shipping be long. I don't care.
But you can look. I'm just excited about tracking that. Like literally, you ever wake up in the middle of the night to see if it's stuck in Memphis? Who else do that?
Oh my God!
See, make sure the plane left Memphis.
With the scrub, I was like, girl, it's in Memphis. But we ain't had no issues. Name
this. You're not disagreeing. You're saying the same thing. But the flip side of it is that one person can have all the money that they want. When it comes to legitimate politics, it takes numbers to make a decision. It takes votes to make a decision. So we're not disagreeing. And the DC community is totally under attack by Republicans. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna stick with that. They can be under attack by anybody. Every damn law that they wanted passed has passed. Republicans been saying no same-sex marriage for how long? But we have same-sex marriage in every damn going state. So at the end of the day, the Republicans can think whatever they want. You know, we all can think what we want as individuals. My point is what is effective. And they have been effective in making sure that the things they want to be put in place are in place. So I see what you're saying, but to the other point is that it didn't take money to do that. It took numbers. It took enough people who would rebel against them, enough people who wouldn't support certain things in order for that to get in place. So I have a lot of respect for that community because I tell you, we need to learn, and they can come together without hating each other. Like that's a big thing. No, they can come together without hating each other. You don't see fights at no parades here.
Maybe not there.
Oh, okay. I was going to say here, that's one of the most harmonious events ever, and organized events ever here in the district. Yeah, so yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, but yeah, what it does take is people in one accord, whether we're going to put our money together or if we're going to march together. It has to be people in one accord. So at the end of the day, we're going to end this with this banner. Support U.S. art.
Make sure y'all check out that U.S. art video I'm posting later because it's very relevant. Very relevant.
Yes, what time? 11 o'clock?
We'll see, because I got to finish up some editing on it. We'll see.
Okay,
It'll be today,
okay.
but it probably won't be by
Good.
Wednesday.
All right. I don't know why I don't get your notifications, and I have it on all sometimes.
Probably YouTube, because it's a couple people that say the same thing. So it's
Oh,
probably
that's
just YouTube.
Like normally I know when you post it on like the clip or something or like that, or well, you send me through the inbox. So just let me know when and I'll watch it. But
Yeah, I get all yours.
because I'm important.
Wow.
The algorithms say I'm important.
Your voice say otherwise. Sound like Roger and Zach.
The algorithms say I'm important. All right, and then guys, everybody in this chat, make sure you have your notifications set for 9:00 p.m. tonight. Your girl is going to be on MJ. It's an honor, and I just think our energy tonight is going to be off the daggone chain.
I'm being there talking shit. Yeah, you know.
Long as you there, because I'll come. If I don't see you in the cars, I'm a sponsor for the cars. No.
I might be a little late, but I'll be there.
You won't be late. You'll be on time. Anyway,
I got to pick up my daughter.
Else, definitely check it out. Make sure you share that out. This is a big deal to me. And y'all gonna hear some of it. Me and MJ gonna talk about it tonight. I'm really excited. That's one of the very first podcasts that I ever looked at. It was one of the ones that inspired me to do this, you know, and respect, you know, he was doing it before anybody else was, really, you know, and he kind of set the platform for all the other podcasts that came after. And I said to anybody, thank both of there's the link. I don't care how you feel about MJ. He's going to be with your girl. So y'all better show up. If I don't see y'all in the chat, I'm taking names. I'm writing down who's missing of importance. I'm like, But I will tell you, it's going to be a good one. I'm so excited. I was laughing last night at the end of his show. He announced that I'm laying in the bed and I'm listening to the podcast, and then he mentions that I'm going to be on the show. I'm like, it's me, babe. And my husband looking at me like, I know this you. Like he said your name. Calm down. I'm pumped, y'all. I'm pumped. I got my weave pinned up for it. I'm going to let it down tonight. It's pinned up right now, but let it down tonight, man. My big hair. I'm coming in like a lioness. Just can't wait. Thank you all. I see y'all tonight. Peace.
Have a good week, everybody.